Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. Today we're going to continue our series discussing the various archetypes in Commander. As I'm sure you've gleaned from the title of this video, today we're going to talk about Voltron. For those who don't know, Voltron gets its name from the classic anime. Similar to how Voltron is formed from the 5 lions coming together, a Voltron Commander deck is designed around suiting up your commander, either through equipment, auras, or a combination of both. In the olden days of Commander, back when the format was first being figured out, you were limited to one of the 5 original Elder Dragons from Legends as your commander. That's actually where the name Elder Dragon Highlander came from. The idea these early players had was that if you got attacked by the same person with their 7/7 dragon 3 times, and you didn't have an answer, you should just lose the game at that point. And this is where we got the 21 commander damage as an optional win condition in Commander. Voltron decks are built around that win con. However, instead of attacking the same person 3 times with a 7/7 dragon, it's much easier to make your commander an 11/11, give them double strike, and just take out a player in a single shot. You do tend to make yourself a target when you do this, so it's advisable to slow your opponents down before killing one of them. Either that or you can go with an extra combats approach, or even an extra turns approach. It's entirely up to you which direction you want to take your Voltron deck. The weakness of a Voltron deck is, of course, the commander. You need to keep your commander alive at all times, or your deck doesn't really function. There are many ways to go about this: having a commander who is indestructible, using interaction like counterspells to keep your commander alive, or stacking your opponents to the point where they can't play the game. All of these are viable options, and the colors of your deck make one of those preferable. Recently, my youngest daughter declared that she wanted to play Commander with us. She wanted me to build her a whole new deck, and she wanted angels. I showed her my Commander Complexity video and explained about the different archetypes. She liked the idea of Voltron. I showed her my Sigarda Voltron deck, but she said she didn't like it as much. So instead, I'm building her a Bruna Light of Alabaster deck. So let's take a look at Bruna. She's a 6-mana 5/5 angel with flying and vigilance. Whenever she attacks or blocks, you may attach to her any number of auras on the battlefield, and you can also put auras from your hand or graveyard onto her. So we don't mind if we have to discard all of our auras, as we can get them all back for free when we attack. With that in mind, let's take a look at our checklist. 50 mana sources, split between lands and ramp, usually 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden eye win card. This time, let's start with the graveyard hate. Normally, white has one of the best pieces of graveyard hate in Rest in Peace. Exiling all graveyards and a replacement effect for any death triggers is huge, and shuts down a lot of decks. Unfortunately, it also shuts down our deck. So instead, we're looking at Angel of Finality and Commit Memory. Commit is a solid piece of removal. You can use it to stop uncounterable effects like Abrupt Decay or Counterflux, and the flip side can refill our hands or get rid of graveyards. Ideally, you want to cast it after you've brought all your auras back from the graveyard, but that won't always be an option. Next, we'll look at card advantage. We have tutors in Heliod's Pilgrim, 3 Dreams, Sovereigns of Lost Alara, and Open the Armory. Monastery Siege gives us an extra card every turn, and we can pitch expensive auras to the graveyard and get them back for free with Bruna. I've already mentioned the memory side of Commit Memory, but we also have Windfall and Frantic Search. Mesa Enchantress and Srom Senior Edificer both let us draw cards whenever we cast an aura, but with Bruna we won't be casting a lot, so I didn't include them. Instead, I went with Faithful Mending and Tolarian Winds. Finally, for auras that let us draw cards either when we attack or when they enter the battlefield, we have Curious Obsession, Staggering Insight, Unquestioned Authority, Sage's Reverie, and Righteous Authority. The rest of our auras are pretty straightforward. We have auras that protect our commander, and auras that make her do more damage. For protection, we have Hyena Umbra, Vanishing, Eel Umbra, Curator's Ward, Shielded by Faith, Timely Ward, Indestructibility, Drake Umbra, and Fool's Demise. Though not an aura, we do have a Swiftfoot Boots for additional protection. To kill our opponents faster, we have Battle Mastery, Ethereal Armor, All That Glitters, Auramancer's Guise, Steel of the Godhead, Spirit Mantle, Aqueous Form, Holy Mantle, Face of Divinity, and Daybreak Coronet. Because we're casting so many enchantments, I felt that Sigil of the Empty Throne, an Archon Sun's Grace, and an Ajani's Chosen were all appropriate. This deck is for my youngest daughter, after all, and making a bunch of kitties, ponies, and angels would make her very happy. For interaction and spot removal, in addition to Commit Memory, we have Counterspell, Negate, Dovin's Veto, Disenchant, Keep Safe, Return to Dust, Hindering Light, Karametra's Blessing, and Reality Shift. Our board wipes are all ones that keep our commander alive. Winds of Wrath, Single Combat, and Divine Reckoning. If it weren't for our commander's ability to cheat auras into play, Danitha Capuchin Paragon, Starfield Mystic, Transcendent Envoy, and Hero of Iroas would all be solid includes for mana ramp. But sadly, they just don't work that well with Bruna. So instead, we'll be going with more traditional ramp in Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Azorius Locket, Felwar Stone, Solemn Simulacrum, Burnished Heart, Sky and Marble Diamonds, Commander Sphere, and a Mind Stone. For lands, we have as many cheap dual lands as possible, most of them coming into play tapped, along with Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse for color fixing, Myriad Landscape for additional ramp, Command Tower and Exotic Orchard, 7 islands, and 12 plains. So let's compare this to our checklist. We have 37 lands, but only 11 pieces of ramp. However, our commander cheats a bunch of cards into play, so I think we'll be fine. So long as we can keep our commander alive for a couple of turns, we should win the game. For card advantage, we have 15 counting our tutor effects. Interaction, we have 10. We're at 3 board wipes, all of which leave our commander alone. 2 pieces of graveyard hate. We don't have a sudden I win card, but if we combine 3 Dreams with Windfall or Tolarian Winds, then attack with Bruna, we could easily knock a player out of the game. If we want to talk upgrades, the biggest thing this deck needs is more interaction. Counterspells are great, but sometimes you don't have the mana open to use them. So adding a Swords to Plowshares and a Path of Exile would be perfect for this deck. If we want to add an additional aura, Eldrazi Conscription is disgusting and a lot of fun. Sphere of Safety and Ghostly Prison are excellent at keeping us alive against creature-heavy decks, and Umbra Mystic is amazing protection for our commander. Finally, for mana I'd add a Hallowed Fountain, Glacial Fortress, Sea of Clouds, and a Talisman of Progress. Hopefully that card gets reprinted soon. $12 for a Talisman is too expensive in my opinion. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited that my youngest daughter wants to play Commander with us, and I'm excited to see her pilot and learn this deck. I tried to keep it a bit on the simpler side, but she does have some fun and interesting interaction going on. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all again next time.